What's up, guys? It's Science Boys here, back with another video.
You just read it.
And today, we'll be talking about the Aztecs and everything you need to know about them. The topics we'll be covering today for the Aztecs are art, religion, the agriculture, science, and maps.
So the Aztecs were hardworking people. Most of them worked as farmers or merchants. They lived in modern homes but couldn't really afford elaborate clothing or art. And then in modern day in Mexico, where the Aztecs used to be or were located, the people there are also hardworking, and most of them working in industries to produce goods around the world, and about 15% of all jobs in Mexico are in agriculture.
So today we're going to be talking about economics, and some of the natural resources of the Aztecs were water, obsidian, clay, copper, and they also used these items to craft sacrificial knives, spears, bows, pots, pans, plates, vases. Their food and their natural food was fish, deer, rabbit, iguanas, but they didn't have larger domesticated animals. And their trade partners were very important to them. Aztecs like to trade. They traded beans, squash, avocado, tobacco, hemp, and peppers. The most valuable and important crop was corn. The Aztecs traded with the European market and the neighboring states. Some of the things they sold were weapons, tropical bird feathers, cocoa beans, gold, animal skin, and farming supplies. A popular currency for trade was cocoa beans and what they called hoe money, because it looked like a gardening hoe or something. Some of the Aztecs trade merchants went on long journeys to buy or sell luxury goods, and their biggest source of income was a tribute and tax. The people who didn't have to pay tax were nobles, miners, orphans, and beggars. The Aztec currency was called hoe money because it was made from copper and looked like a mini gardening hoe. The punishment for not paying taxes was losing your property or as slavery. The Aztec government was close to a monarchy where an emperor was the main ruler. They named the ruler Hueyateni. He decided how much when to go to war and how much each group would pay. When the emperor died, a new emperor was chosen by a group of nobles.
The concept of gods in Aztec society is referred to as Teotl in Nahuatl, the language of the Aztec. The Aztecs, like other Mesoamerican societies, had a wide pantheon of gods. Gods represented different important parts of the world for Aztec people, whereas non-theistic religions, such as Christianity, only had one god. The wide variety of gods in Aztec religion is a result of several factors. First, the Aztec Empire emerged after the fall of the earlier Mesoamerican societies, such as Toltec, Olmec, and Maya. As a result, the Aztecs shared similar gods to these earlier societies. During the rise to power of the Aztec Empire, its power and authority quickly spread out from its capital city of Tenochtitlan in the Valley of Mexico and conquered many other city-states. The conquered people to accept the Aztec gods, but the Aztecs allowed them to keep their own original gods. As a result, over time, Aztec society adopted and built on their own god system and eventually included many other gods across the empire. Some of the most important gods were Tezcatlipoca, known as the Smoking Mirror, and Quetzalcoatl, known as the Feathered Serpent.
The Aztecs created advanced antispasmodic medicine, which is used to prevent muscle spasms and relax muscles, which are very important in modern surgery. It is also said that the Aztecs invented popcorn and chewing gum, which was first known as chicle. The Aztecs also invented guacamole, which was made with avocados that were grown in that region. The Aztecs may have also invented other things like vanilla, saunas, and tobacco smoking. The Aztecs were the first to make education for everyone mandatory. The Aztecs also had advanced math and ways of calculation. Aztecs use a vigesimal system instead of a decimal system. They had different symbols like dots and bars to represent numbers. Aztec language, also known as Nahuatl, is a pre-Columbian language. This language was basically a bunch of pictures that meant different letters and words, similar to other early languages. These are also known as pictograms, which are pictures that mean different things.
Society. Invaders led by Spanish leader Hernan Cortez crushed the Aztec Empire by force and captured
Tenochtitlan
in 1521, bringing an end to the Mesoamerican last great native civilization. The Aztecs did many things like games and entertainment. The main thing Aztecs would do to entertain was play various board and ball games. The Aztec people would dance, play music, tell stories, and read poems. Music and dance was an important part of the Mesoamerican and South American culture.
The Aztecs used a system very similar to a monarchy because the emperor king ruled everyone. The ruler was called the Huitlatoani, and they were the ultimate power of the land. These rulers were said to be appointed by the gods and that they had a divine right to rule. Notable rulers include Chimalpopoca from 1415 to 1426 and Axayacatl from 1469 to 1481. The Aztec Empire began around 1345 and ended near 1521. The Aztec Empire was at its peak in the early 1500s and was the most powerful Mesoamerican empire at the time.
The environment of the Aztecs was a lot of grass with some mountains and some hills, of course. They mainly used this for farming and building cities. Here's the map that we drew. The Aztecs were very religious and they made many sacrifices. And now we will sacrifice a...
And now we sacrifice Iggy by taking his heart out. We give his heart to the gods.
Run! Hey! The environment of the Aztecs is... okay.
A thing that the Aztecs were also known for were the arts,
The people who didn't have to pay taxes.
What?
No. Go.
You filming?
Right, he has like a hook nose. Bunch of wood chips. Look how curved Iggy's nose is.
What do you mean? It's a nose. What?
Society. Invaders led by... The Aztecs were a very religious civilization, and they made very many sacrifices. And next. The Aztecs made many... the Aztecs were a very religious...
And now we sacrifice him by taking his heart out.